Hey, good morning, everybody. It is Wanda here with this morning's tarot. How are you this morning? I'm fiddling with the camera here. I'm just waiting for everybody to hop on, maybe on this beautiful Monday morning here in Kiama. Hi, Shirley. How are you, darling? How has your weekend been? Wow, Alexandra, welcome. Shannon, welcome. How are you? And welcome all of you too who are hopping on from the international platform. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you all? For the last time, I think I've said it a few times. My very quick talk this morning is going to be about the full moon in April, the 19th of, which I think is a, hang on, let me check. It is a Saturday. It's this coming Saturday. And of course, in Pacific time, it's going to be the 20th. So it'll be very full on. And even the 4 days, you may be even feeling it now. A lot of us have had a lot of changes. Welcome, everybody. Sylvia and Vicky, Diane, another Diane, Marie, Fiona. Hello, Fiona. How are you, darling? How's everything going? Long time no hear from those of you who are hopped on right now. Kerry, welcome. Please let me know where you're hopping on from and how you've been traveling in the last month. This last month, because we had the full moon last month in we had a super full moon. The effects of a super full moon can be forwarding into the next months, and because the full moon falls in almost in the same time frame as it did last time, what I want to share with you is that whatever is not complete of what you started 4 weeks ago, then it will be made complete this week. It'll be a big struggle for a lot of people who are hanging on to the shit, right? When I say that, if you're hanging on to relationships, if you're hanging on to personal beliefs, if you're hanging on to ways in which you live your life, you're going to be absolutely struggling. And the idea around this full moon is going to be the completion of the cycle of the last month, because we've actually moved, like I said, from the last moon to the full moon now, which is absolutely now, it is the final crunch time. I highly recommend that you maybe hop on YouTube and check out some of the people who are talking at length about this full moon, because it'll explain a lot to you about what is really going on. Astrology is not necessarily my forte, but I like to include it because the cosmic energies, aside from what's happening in our own mind and our own body, does affect us. That is absolute, because if we are one, if you believe that we are all one, then everything affects everything. And so those cosmic energies do affect us. It's not just me, it's everybody. Now, in recent times, those of you who've been following my posts will know that my marriage has completely broken down, and that is okay. And a lot of people go, oh my God, you're so strong. Look, you know what? It's got nothing to do with strength. It's got to do with acknowledging the truth. It's got to do with acknowledging when the relationship for myself or for my husband has no longer served us, and he is suffering and I am suffering, and what's the point of both of us suffering? And so the love or the intention around the parting is not that it can be negative. It just has to be very straightforward, and you move forward. We tend to believe in our world that we have to be with the one person forever. And I think that if there are relationships that are like that, that's beautiful. But for most of us, you know, we're either on our own or we choose that, and that's okay too. We don't all have to be married. We don't all have to want children. For some of us, it might be working through different relationships in our life. Now, who was the one who said that you marry somebody? Oh, hang on a minute. Sorry, my phone. Okay, so what I was going to say to you, I've lost my track now. I was right into it. Anyway, I'll shuffle the cards. But anyway, what I wanted to say was thank you to all of you who've been supportive and helpful. I deeply, really appreciate it. The pain comes when it's the struggle to let go, when you think that you've lost something rather than gaining something. And sometimes, you know, they have that saying that when you let a birdie go, that that if that birdie comes back, then that's fine, and if that birdie goes off on its own world, that's okay too. And there is wisdom inside of that. Now I can move forward, and my husband can move forward or not. It's not my decision anymore. I am only responsible for my life and how I act and how I respond and what I do. And I didn't like the person that I was becoming, but I'm going to be talking more at length about that in a few hours' time if you want to join me then. So I'm going to call it Soul Stirring. So have a look. I'll let you know if you want to hop on and have a listen and share. Anyway, today's cards. Okay, so the art of listening to the soul. Very often our mind is like, oh, look, our mind just governs us all the time, doesn't it? And you know what? What I wanted to share with you right now is that your soul stirrings can sometimes be telling you, like, they're not always beautiful messages, you know, and you hear it in harmony. Sometimes your soul will be very direct with you, and sometimes you're not even listening. And part of the awakening, part of the ascension of everybody, including myself, means listening to that soul. And in hindsight, when we look back, we begin to realize I didn't listen to my soul. I didn't take notice, because what I thought I wanted and what you think you want is based on a deep need. It's based on a deep need of your lack of not enough, or you're not worthy, or that you need that. And that is the biggest BS that we tell ourselves. I'm trying to not swear today. I'm trying to be good. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. So the art of soul listening is really listening to that deep little answer within yourself that's warning you, telling you things, right? And it can be a quiet little voice, and it can be very direct and straightforward too. And the more and more that you work inside here, inside your heart, inside your body, rather than looking out there, because out there is not the truth. Out there is the projections of what you think you want. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. I'll stop there, otherwise I'll go ranting on forever, and I don't want to do that. I'm just hoping that the card that comes up today, oops, there's two fallen out, but I can't see their pictures. Whenever you're doing the cards and you're shuffling and a card falls out and it shows you who it is, that's the card to read for the day. If you're shuffling away and then you are shuffling and you think in your mind, right, in a moment I'm going to stop, and whatever card's on the top or underneath I can pick. I always pick the top card. I sometimes look at the bottom card because that can tell a different story, and I'll do that today with you. Okay, so here we go. Welcome everybody. Oh, excuse me. Okay, the Seven of Wands. The Seven of Wands is very simple. It's the card of action. Okay, so whenever you get the card of Wands, it's the card of you taking some action today on what you don't want to do, and it's taking positive action. So what have you been lagging behind? Is it bills? Is it making phone calls? Is it cleaning the house? Is it getting rid of the clutter? Whatever it is that you need to do, now's the time to do it before, well, as we move into the energy of the full moon, because now we need to clear it out. Because the full moon is about balance. And, you know, if you've got things that you're not doing and they're stacking up, you're going to be out of balance, okay? Because there's a part of you that is avoiding it, okay? And if you're avoiding it, then that pulls your scales out of balance. Does that make sense? So this card of Seven of Wands is also about a very positive message that you're going to be getting from somebody in the next week. It's going to be a very positive message saying, listen, I received your email. Yes, you've got that job. Listen, I'd like you to come in for an interview. the positive message, look, I've found a house. Wonderful. The next one is there will be a message coming to you that will probably change your life. This is very, very powerful card. Even though it is in the minor arcana cards, it's a very powerful card for right now. So hang on to that. Also in this energy right now, because it's a 7, make sure that you're emotionally in balance, because this full moon being in Libra, and Libra is the scales, okay, and this is where my intuition comes in. What I want to say to you is that you can really, if you haven't done the work of letting go of stuff that no longer serves you, it's going to play havoc on your mind, and you're going to be a little bit like going into that creepy thought of really weird stuff. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to be able to get super dark about your thoughts and think that that is true. Know that your mind is there to protect you, but everything that is projected out is no longer in servicing you. Does that make sense? Okay, so this 7 of Wands, even though it's an action card, you know, the guy's there and he's throwing out his swords, it's taking action on things, right? On things that are really, really the things that you have to do. And I'm not talking about, I'm talking about the real, like, heavy stuff. You got to take out the heavy artillery, okay? If you've got to move things, if you haven't been doing what you need to do, you need to do it in this 4 days before the full moon, or the 4 days after the full moon. And because we're sort of heading into Easter, people are taking their Easter break. So try and get in and do things now while you can. Yeah, and it is school holidays too, so you've got a bit more time, but take that action. If you know that your lease is running out, if there's anything you know that needs attention, step forward, be organized and get that sorted out. Don't leave things to the last minute, because it's going to burn you. Okay, you'll get burnt, and I'm warning you. So remember what I just said. Okay, and now I'm going to read for, who am I going to read for? And I'm using my OSHO cards again because I just love them. Okay, Fiona, this card is for you, darling. I hope you're well. Okay, Fiona, if you're still on, of course. Okay, here we go. I know you can't see me. I'm sorry about that because I am shuffling. Oh my God! Here's the first card that popped out. It is the OSHO card of projections. What does that mean? Okay, so this is what this card means. It can mean several things. Okay, number one, when you're sitting in a picture theatre, right, you're looking at the screen, but behind you is the projector behind you. And that projector represents your mind. And here you are, and you're watching the movie, and you're thinking that everything is true. In your life, you're looking at the world, you're looking at the people in your life, and behind you is the projector. And in your head is the projector, your mind. Okay, I look like an Indian. Hello. Okay, so this projector, this is putting it out there based on your thoughts, based on your experiences in life, based on what you think constantly, right? And if you're not doing the meditations, this is for you, Fiona. So if you're going down, if you're spiraling down with your emotions and with your thoughts about things, I think you're going to have to switch off the projector. And how do you do that? Because what we project out there, what we put out there, and what we think we believe out there is not the truth. And this is why we are ascending, because we're working with the soul. And this can really stop you from being the true person that you are. If you're still on, Fiona, let me know if this resonates with you. And for anyone else who's still on, does this resonate with you? So we can go down a dark hole. You know, we always do that. I have done that in my past. I've gone down a dark hole. If you're seeking clarity, or a deeper understanding of a situation, like why things broke down, I've certainly been in that space myself. With my marriage, where did I go wrong? Where did he go wrong? What do we both do wrong? What did we what did we accept as a normal in a marriage that wasn't really serving either one of us. And we can then go back down a hole if we're not careful. You can go back down a hole if you're not careful. And so always watching to understand the better of it all. Sometimes it's not even worth reflecting about, simply because it leaves you with self-doubt, and I could have done this and I should have done that and I could have did this. And then you need to let that go as well, because really, you know, our job as human beings is to be the best givers of all our life. And one thing that I learned from my mistakes is that I can do as much as I can to help somebody, my family, my husband, my friends, right? I can do as much as I can, but I can't live their life for them. I can't help them take that action, because they need to do that themselves. And so we need to step back from feeling responsible for somebody because we stop them from learning. And sometimes with a split, it's not because they're bad people or I'm a bad person or it didn't work. It's there for a reason. And so therefore the moving away is there for you to continue your life, not as it was, because you learn from what your realizations are for yourself. You take full responsibility for that, full ownership, and you move forward. I hope that makes sense, Fiona. So if your mind has been playing silly buggers with you and it's been, you know, pushing it all out, and you're thinking this, and your husband was that, you know, like get off that horse. That horse is just going down to a space where you don't want to be. And you want to be able to go, oh, that's the projector again. I've got to switch that off and go, okay, what's here inside me? What am I feeling right now? Am I feeling remorse? Am I feeling guilt? What am I feeling? And is that serving me? What can I accept about myself right now? And be powerful in those decisions rather than getting super depressed. You know, depression is one of the worst things in our world today, because I'll tell you why. You know why we have so many people depressed? This is the key. We have so many people depressed, suffering from anxiety, just like my husband, all right? And lots of other people out there that are suffering from depression. And here's the reason why. Because they're numb to their emotions. They're numbed out. And when you numb your emotions, you numb your soul, right? Because we are so scared of being vulnerable. We are so scared of being exposed. We are so scared of what other people think of us. And any kind of vulnerable situation, you know, of lack of worthiness and fears, the depression, anxiety, come from numbness. We can't handle it. So we numb ourselves out. And what we are numbing ourselves to our soul. And the funny thing is, and here is the magic, when you unnumb yourself, when you start to feel your fears, inside that vulnerability is also the deepest joy, love, and happiness. And you will never, ever, ever, ever get that deep joy, love, and happiness until you bathe in your own vulnerability and just stand there. Just stand there and watch those monsters come to you. And you know what? If you stand there and unnumb yourself, that's unnumbing, all right? If you just stand there and watch those fears just come, they won't attack you. They will disintegrate before your eyes. They might get right up close to your nose, but they will disintegrate because they're not real. They're not real. So that is my special soul message for you today. I hope that's helped Fiona, because that's not only for you, it's for me as well, and it's for everybody. Oh, wrong card. Where was it? Here it is. Projections. And the 7 of Wands. That's today. Unnumb yourself, people. Unnumb yourself. Feel your feelings. Yep, feel that pain. Cry it out. Really cry if you have to. Feel that feeling. Unnumb yourself, because only then will you feel the greatest joy and happiness. Darlings, that is it for now, and I will talk to you again tomorrow. Bye.